I'm Joanna Small, Public Affairs and Communications Manager for the Lynnwood Police Department. It's Friday, January 21st, and this is your LPD Video Weekend Review. Here's a summary of some of the most notable incidents your Lynnwood police officers responded to over this past week or so. On January 14th, officers were called to Fred Meyer for a gun left inside a shopping cart. When we arrived, loss prevention employees explained they found the gun inside a purse which had been left in a cart. The serial number was filed off, which is illegal. Through surveillance footage, employees determined the owner of the gun was still inside the store. We made contact with her, and she claimed a man she'd been hanging out with put the gun inside her purse a few days ago. She did not have a license to carry a concealed pistol. The woman was arrested. During this incident, a friend she claimed to have been inside the store with left without paying for about $1,000 worth of merchandise. She initially ran from officers who tried to detain her, but was eventually caught and arrested as well. Also, on January 14th, a theft at Ross led to the recovery of a stolen vehicle and the arrest of a man wanted on a felony warrant. When officers responded to the store, they contacted the suspect, who had asked an uninvolved bystander to jump his stolen vehicle. The suspect originally gave officers his brother's name, but when pressed, gave his actual name, which is how officers learned about his warrant. Therefore, he was arrested for both possession of a stolen vehicle as well as making false and misleading statements to a public servant. The vehicle's rightful owner was contacted, and she had it towed. On January 13th, an observant LPD officer was driving through the Fred Meyer parking lot when he noticed an SUV with a trailer attached that had no license plate and an obviously falsified 3-day trip permit. The person associated with the Tahoe had a warrant out of Lynnwood for possession of stolen property. When our officer contacted him this time, he denied the trailer was stolen and said a stranger whose name he did not know lent it to him for no discernible reason. In reality, the trailer had been reported stolen off someone's property the previous day. The suspect is again facing charges for possession of stolen property. Credit cards in someone else's name were also found on his person. On January 15th, officers were called to the U.S. Bank on 196th Street Southwest for reports of a fraud. A man was attempting to deposit a fraudulent treasury check at the bank drive-up window. The bank teller provided the 911 dispatcher a license plate, and it turns out the vehicle was stolen. The vehicle left the bank before officers arrived, but was quickly contacted and stopped nearby. Officers took a look at the fraudulent check. It appeared the name of the actual recipient of the check had been covered up with the suspect's name. The suspect also had a warrant for DUI out of King County. The registered owner of the vehicle said it had been stolen a few days earlier. An LPD canine alerted to the presence of narcotics in the car, so the suspect was arrested for possession of a stolen vehicle and fraud, and possibly additional charges pending a search warrant on the stolen vehicle. On January 18th, Lynnwood officers were called to the intersection of 196th and Scriber Lake Road for a two-car collision with serious injuries. When they arrived, they found the 56-year-old driver of the SUV, determined to be the causing vehicle, with serious injuries to his head. He was transported to Harborview Medical Center. Traffic investigators concluded he ran a red light going west on 196th and struck the other vehicle, which was making a left-hand turn on a green arrow north onto Scriber Lake Road. Fortunately, the 53-year-old driver of the victim vehicle was not injured. No impairment is suspected. On January 19th, Lynnwood police officers were called to an assault with a weapon at an apartment complex on 36th Avenue West. The victims told officers they were sitting inside their vehicle when an angry man approached and told them to get out because his kids were sleeping. The victims told officers there wasn't any loud music or noise coming from their vehicle, but the victims backed their car out of its spot anyway. That's when the suspect then opened the driver's side door and attempted to strike the driver with an axe. They continued to try to drive again while the suspect swung the axe and threatened to kill them. As they drove away, the suspect hit the rear windshield and it shattered. Officers located the suspect at the apartment complex and he was arrested for malicious mischief and assault. The axe was not located. Also, on January 19th, a Walmart employee called 911 to report a robbery in which the suspect handed over a note stating he had a gun and wanted cash out of the register. The employee told the suspect she didn't know the codes to open the register, and she called a supervisor. This apparently spooked the suspect, and he left on foot, heading southbound through the Walmart parking lot. The employee described him as a white male wearing a black hooded jacket, black beanie, white surgical mask, black pants, and black gloves. You're looking at him here on surveillance footage. Although he's extremely difficult to recognize because so much of his face is obscured in the images, if you do believe you know who he is or know anything about this crime, call the number on your screen. That's all for now. We'll see you next time.